So today I'm working with the Jane Davenport Power Pastels. I bought them and I wasn't thrilled with them. I got them at Michael's and they were like $30. And they're kind of wax crayons. I know that they're supposed to be power pastels, but they really remind me of like the cheap crayons you get at restaurants when you like have kids and you order the kids meal. And the first couple times I used them, I hated them throughout what I did. So this is my attempt at using them again. And so what I thought I'd do is, because I tried to use them and I was like, oh my gosh, that looks terrible. And then I got this idea, well, what if I heated up the wax? And originally I was using this kebab skewer, and I was using a candle, but it was like dip, move, and it was getting sooty and it was getting everywhere, and it was a very slow process. And then my husband suggested that I use a soldering iron, but you can't put the soldering iron anywhere like near the canvas or the wax because it'll burn the canvas, it'll make the wax congeal, it'll get kind of gross. But, and this is my, like, don't try this at home unless you're an adult, and I'm not responsible for you burning yourself, because I already burnt myself a couple times because I'm, awesome like that. But if you heat it up, you get it nice and hot, you can kind of see how nice that looks, and it's just slow. It's a slow process, but I think it ends up looking really, really nice and really pretty, and it gives it more depth. So instead of like this like sidewalk chalk kind of drawing you've got over here on the side, you get this nice smooth look you have on this side. And the other upside to it is that after it's melted, and after you've melted it like this, it doesn't smear at all. I would still recommend using fixative, because like if it rubs against something hard enough, it's wax, it's colored wax essentially, and it's a crayon, so it's gonna still like mark on it, and it might damage your art. But if you spray fixative, it'll keep it a little bit safer. It's not something, it's like gonna be super hardy, but it does give it a little bit more staying power. So if you have your Jane Davenport Power Pastels and you're not thrilled with them, you can try a soldering iron and a bamboo skewer. I got my soldering iron at Harbor Freight. Not bamboo skewer, barbecue skewer, sorry. And the soldering iron was $3, but it gets very hot, so be careful. And the skewers was like a pack of like 10 of them. I think I got it at Target for $1 or something ages ago. I just had it in my kitchen drawer, and I thought, oh, I'll use this because, playing with fire and metal and hot things is always a good idea. It's not, really. Don't quote me on that, please. So, anyways, that's my little neat trick for today. And I was thinking about doing some more YouTube videos of just me doing my thing and creating, but I have to figure out a better setup, because right now I've got a cardboard box, a lamp, and I've got, I think this is supposed to be a scrapbooking tote, but I keep my pan pastels in it because it's like the perfect size for it, that I got at Michael's. And that's like I have my Ot light in this, and that's like my setup, my ultra cool setup, because I don't know how else, and my phone's like packaging taped up on the top of the box. So for better lighting and more room, I'm gonna need to find a better setup, but I thought it might be kind of fun to post, stuff as I work on it, because it's amazing how things go from this and kind of bleh to this, and like how things start out as like a crappy sketch to something more, because something that my daughter always talks to me about is about how Like, her biggest complaint is like, well, it never looks good. Well, art usually doesn't start out looking good. I mean, I'm not always thrilled with what I do anyways, but art never starts out looking good. But if you work at it and you put more effort into it, you'll eventually get something you like out of it. Maybe. Or, you can throw it in the it sucks bucket and try again. But it's a process. It's like with anything else. All buildings start out crappy plywood and sand and mortar, and they become beautiful things, and paintings are kind of the same way. So, anyways, keep an eye out. Subscribe to me if you're curious on the other bizarre, weird things I'm willing to try for the name of art, because in my opinion, if it doesn't have an owner, it's free game as far as creating with it. If you're interested in more bizarre things that I want to try out. I don't post videos often, but when I do. So subscribe to me. I think I already said that. And get creative.